us. Thank you very much for joining us for this roundtable on logistics and trade in Miami. Very important hub in the southeast. I'm just waiting for a couple more to join us. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to the Miami Live 20.
I rearranged.
Yes. Say again. Go ahead, Eric.
I just want to say I could stay till. Yeah.
Oh, are you saying that you can stay until 2? Eric? Okay,
yes.
Good, because the order
yes.
that I would have preferred is okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
the order I would have. Okay, got
till
it.
2.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great because we will be starting now, and it's going to go until probably close to 2, but not after 2, because we do have another roundtable at that time. So that's great. So I just want to remind everybody watching now, thank you for joining us. We have a chat that is open, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. You can click on it and then click session. You will be able to chat with us for everybody present in the session. The event is the general event chat, so that's for everybody connected. Right now, you will be able to comment and ask questions to our guests and panelists today, Hector, Jean-Yves, Eric, and Stanley. Stanley is our moderator, and we thank you all for joining us. And just a quick reminder as well that after the session, you will be able to contact directly our panelists and guests directly into People, which is in the top right corner of your screen, and type in their name, and you can connect via LinkedIn or website, whatever is listed there, and also invite to video call and one-on-ones for your qualified networking. If you do want to network in a more random way, you can always connect on the left-hand side of your screen to networking, and that way you'll be connected every 5 minutes to a new attendee. That's a great way to discover who's behind the screen. And right now we will tackle the Miami Trade and Logistic Hub. So Stanley, thank you very, very much for accepting our invitation to moderate this table. You're Vice President of Economic Development for the Beacon Council, and can you tell us a little bit more about what you do, how the Beacon Council can help all our viewers, and exactly what you will be tackling through this roundtable with our guests?
Sure. Well, thank you, Marc-Antoine, for inviting me to moderate this panel. I'm very excited about our guests. I'm with the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. Miami-Dade Beacon Council is the official economic development organization for Miami-Dade County. And with that, let me welcome the international community to our beautiful Miami community. And basically, our role in the community is to market Miami as a world business class destination. It's to help local companies grow through our retention, expansion, and recruitment program, but also to help shape the direction of our industry. And when we talk about industries, one of our key industries is trade and logistics. It represents 1 out of every 4 jobs in Miami, and in some cases in the entire state of Florida. And today we have a representative from our seaport, which I will say is probably the second largest employer in Miami-Dade County. I think just after the airport, or I may have that inversed, but either way, it's the airport and the seaport are 2 major employers, and it speaks to the importance of this industry in Miami. As I said, we have the port is the only port, the seaport right now, south of Virginia, that's Panamex ready. In other words, that can receive the largest vessels coming out of the Suez or Panama Canal, and it's really been sort of the central piece of why trade and logistics has become so important to Miami. So very happy to have Eric Olofsson, who's the Director of Business Development, Cargo Development for Port Miami, which is our key seaport in Miami. But we also have today 2 very important companies from the French community that have made Miami their home. One is Bolloré Logistics, and of course, one of the top shipping lines in the world, which is CMA CGM. So I'll stop there unless you had something else to say, Marc-Antoine.
We just had Jean-Yves with us. He's just stepped out for now and we'll be back in like a few seconds. So
Okay.
we can just start. But yes, indeed,
Sure.
he is.
Okay.
He's nearby.
No worries. So let me go ahead and maybe introduce our panelists very quickly. So let me start with our friend Hector. Hector Molloré is with Bolloré Logistics. Hector was appointed to the position of CEO Latin America for Bolloré Logistics Americas in July 2020. He is an accomplished logistics executive with a career of increasing responsibility and proven track record over 30 years in the region. He has a well-developed, diverse background, bringing a strong commercial acumen and operations optimization expertise, the foundation of his success in Latin America. So in his new role, Hector will be responsible for leading the activities and development of Bolloré Logistics in the region, strengthening the relationships with their agent partners, and looking for new opportunities for their external growth. So Hector, thank you for being here. Our second panelist is my colleague and friend, Eric Olafson. Eric is the Director for Global Trade and Business Development at Port Miami. Eric develops and oversees business strategies and to promote one of the leading container ports in the state of Florida, including the promotion of the port's billion-dollar investment in infrastructure. Yeah, he also leads or heads up efforts to increase bilateral trade and develop Neo-Panamax businesses. So in his capacity, he's responsible for administering the port's perishables, transshipment, air, sea, and cargo, and foreign trade zones initiatives in Miami. Actually, Eric, we just got off a perishables committee call, which was always very interesting. Thank you for a great meeting there, Eric. And then our third panelist is, sure, let's bring him up really quickly.
Thank you.
Okay, our third panelist is, do I have you? There we go. Is my friend Jean-Yves Duval from CMA CGM. Jean-Yves is the Senior Vice President of Group Operations, Procurement, and Cost Efficiency for CMA CGM, originally from the Marseille office, but now here in Miami. He is the International Ocean Transportation Executive with extensive business, unit leadership, operational, and commercial experience as well. So with that, I'm going to ask Hector to begin with his presentation, and let me pull Hector the presentation up. And there we go.
So
are you able to see it?
while you do this, Stanley, I can't see your screen share so far.
Oh, okay.
If you do click on the screen, that's
there we go. Yes,
well,
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. There we go. Okay, so
brilliant. And let me remind all of our viewers, if you click twice on the screen share by Stanley right now, it will maximize the video, so you can blow up a little bit the screen so you can see better the slides and the presentation.
okay, and
Right now, yeah, perfect.
please let me know if you can see it.
It looks all good.
Very good. So with that, I invite Hector to talk a little bit about Bolloré Logistics. Hector, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Stanley. Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity with French-American Chamber of Commerce to spend some time with all of you today. So I'll spend a few minutes talking about why Miami Hub as a trade and logistics capital of the Americas. So we are Bolloré. Bolloré Logistics was founded real quick here in 1822, so quite a long time ago, almost 200 years ago. 200. We have about over 20,000 employees globally, 600 offices, 20 plus offices in Latin America. 109 countries, including Latin America, of course, and Americas, and over 5 billion in revenue annually. Next slide, please. Right click here. Oh, okay, perfect. So now coming to why Miami and why Miami as a hub. As you all know, you heard the term many times, gateway. Yes, we call Miami the gateway to. We used to call it the gateway to Latin America, but now in recent years we call it the gateway to the Americas. And I will show you why in the next couple slides. So Miami has become the center of the Americas now, you know. So, you know, because of the strategic location for north and south and north. So from here, you have tremendous lift from the airport and the seaport, daily, weekly, you know, multiple frequencies from each one. You know, we have a tremendous presence in terms of compliance here. We can do many things here. Of course, we can do custom brokerage, which I will touch on it real quick. You know, we can do order fulfillment, e-commerce, which it's becoming very popular. What I mean, e-commerce more on the business side. And here in Miami, which have become increasingly popular, is a free trade zone. Bonded warehouse being very popular here. Let's call it 80s, 90s, and so forth. But now it's a free trade zone. And then, you know, other more sophisticated tools that you can run from here is a vendor management inventory and end-to-end visibility through our tracking system or any tracking system that we have. Next, perfect. So here's our new facility. We just moved in a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Brand new, west of the Miami Dolphins. We are 13 miles from the airport and another 7 miles to the port. It's over 200,000 square feet. And this is fully LED gold facility. I think it's one of only the few in Dade County that I'm aware of. And we also TAPA certified. I don't know if you all know about TAPA, but this is a very strict organization in terms of asset protection. So we have implemented, put a lot of investment to security and safety in this facility as well. So, and we are employing today 100 employees so far and growing. Next, please. Okay, just a quick picture of our facility. You know, of course, we do racking. We do pick and pack, we do floor storing. And as you can see, all our lighting is LED. And you can see on the wall, we have a lot of natural light coming into the facility as well. Very clean, very, you know, safety is here, number one, for all our employees. Next. Okay, so a quick chart here, trying to explain in simple terms what is a bonded warehouse versus a foreign trade zone, because like I said earlier, the foreign trade zone is becoming quite popular, and a lot of customers are inquiring about using Miami as their foreign trade zone. You know, either American companies or global companies, Latin American companies. So, and you click next is first. There are many differences. I'll touch on a few because of time. As you can see, if you had goods and you're bonded, when you're bonded, it's all the goods are taxed. When you're in the foreign trade zone, your goods are not taxed. So something that I think a lot of people look at when they do the calculations for investments or for determining their value of the goods, the cost of value of the goods. Also, interesting point, the manufacturing. I mean,
do you see me? Okay.
Can you see it? Yeah. So for manufacturing, in the bonded warehouse, we can do manufacturing or let's call it, or add any type of value to that product in the foreign trade zone, you can. You can do a lot of things with your products to add value, no? And there's no duty on any waste material. And then storage, which is another item that people look at. You know, in the bond that you can store goods up to 5 years. In foreign trade zone, 100 years or whatever you're looking for. And the last one here, in terms of permitted, I mean, you know, you can do certain things until you are clear, you know, only to be clear and repackaged and sorted. In the foreign trade zone, goods may be sorted, like I said earlier, destroy, clean, I mean, you can do a lot of manipulation. So this is a good thing in Miami. You know, we have it, but you can also do it here. And the last, just a quick example, a case study that we did for a major cosmetic player. We set up their free trade zone for them. As you can see here, that they do quite a bit of storage with us and a lot of picking due to the type of the SKU or the goods they manufacture on the export. So yeah, I wanted to give you a flavor of some of the things we do here, our capacity, our services, and some of our customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hector. That's we can see where your expertise lies. Obviously, foreign trade zones is a really important component to our trade and logistics activity here. I think in the country we're ranked somewhere between 4th and 6th, which probably means 5th in the country in terms of the number of foreign trade zone users in Miami. And I think Eric can talk a little bit about that because Miami. The Port Miami is a foreign trade zone authority, which is a foreign trade zone 281, and that's a huge component of our trade activity here in Miami. So with that, let me just go ahead before I bring Eric on. I want to invite a little bit about CMA CGM. Again, as you know, CMA CGM is one of the largest shipping lines in the world, and we're really excited to have CMA CGM here in Miami. So with that, there we go. Jaib, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Stanley. Do you hear me? Because I had a couple of issues with my connection, so it's great. So I will introduce, thank you so much. I will introduce CMA CGM, and after I will wait for your question. But as a high-level introduction about the company, just to remind that CMA CGM Group is led by Rodolphe Saadé, is today a world leader in transport and logistics. We are nowadays the fourth largest carrier in the world. We actually carried in 2019 22 million TEUs. We are operating a fleet of a bit more than 500 vessels, which are basically spread over something like 200 plus services. And when it's come to our region, Latin America, Caribbean and Latin America, we do operate something like 37 services, weekly products. Thanks to the acquisition of CEVA Logistics, which actually happened almost two years ago, we also became a kind of a world leader in logistics services. The group is handling nowadays almost 500,000 tons of air freight cargo and almost 2 million tons of inland freight on a yearly basis. We are constantly innovating to offer our customers new maritime, inland, and logistics solutions, because we do believe that the customers are looking at a complete and packaged solution, and not only a port-to-port solution as we used to be we used to do for something like 40 years. We are present on every continent all over the world. We are established in 160 countries. We do have 755 offices, almost the same number of warehouses all over the world, 750. Together with SEVA, the group is employing nowadays 110,000 people worldwide, which becoming a huge company. And with our head office being still in France and in Marseille with 2,400 people. Last but not least, the group is also operating terminal in ports such as the one being in Miami, and I'm sure that Eric is pleased with that. We do have a majority participation in South Florida Container Terminal, and it is part of the footprint of the company in Miami and in the US. Stanley, if you wish, I will be at your disposal to answer to further questions and to go even into further details about our operation as well as the trust of the group.
Sure, thank you for that. Did you want to go through any more slides, or was that the last one?
No, this one was the last one. It's really a high level of a view of what we are doing, the organization. Those are the services that we operate within the region, again, 37. When I'm talking about the region, from Miami, we are heading the Caribbean and all Latin America markets and services. So recently, we added the management of East Coast South America, which was separately managed up to now. So we have a comprehensive and entire comment, I would say, management, of the region. Yeah.
Excellent. I know Eric and I visited Marseille last year during the Paris Air Show. We had a chance to see your headquarters in Marseille, and we're just excited that you're investing in Miami. We think that's where the growth opportunity is for CMA CGM, and we're excited to have you here. So with that, I'm delighted to also invite my colleague and friend Eric Olofsson, who is with Port Miami, to talk a little bit about the port and why companies like CMA CGM and Bolloré Logistics makes a lot of sense here in Miami. Eric?
Thank you, Stanley, and it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the ability to talk. Actually, we have the entire kind of the logistics network here. We have Hector on the warehousing side, and we have Jean over here talking about the ocean carriers, and then we're the port that brings in that trade. And in fact, it's a pleasure that CMA CGM has chosen Miami to have their U.S. headquarters, and it's actually one of 3 global offices that they have for their operations. They have one in Singapore, one in Miami, and one in Marseille. So it's a pleasure having them here. We always work very closely with our friends. Actually, if you go to that back to the first slide there, Stanley, for a second.
Sure.
I just wanted to,
sorry.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself. Sorry about that, Eric. There we go.
Already at the end. Yeah, if you could look at this is the Port of Miami looking out through right to the left. On the right is Fisher Island, and you can see that we have CMA CGM interest in the terminal that is the tip of that triangle, and it has services to the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, and Asia. I like Hector was talking about us being the gateway. We were the gateway to the Americas. Now we are a global gateway connecting all different regions via our hub. And these ships that are coming in right now, the CMA CGM was talking about, we can bring the largest ships that can pass through the Panama Canal, the 50, we are 50 feet deep. That's 15.3 meters. And we can bring in ocean carriers up to 14,000 TEUs, which are the biggest that go through the Panama Canal. And I know Jean has been putting those ships in, and we've seen we have less calls now than we used to 10 years ago, but we have much more cargo coming in. So I'll tell a little bit about the cargo, and we'll focus on France this time.
Next slide.
Yeah. So France represents 1.61% of Port Miami trade, but it's increased 19% from 2017 to 2019. The commodities are coming in. These are the perishables that are the biggest coming in. Wine, of course, bread, pastry, cakes, crustacean, mollusks, and we also get some cheeses and fine chocolates coming in. So France is a key market, and you can see growing 19% in the last 2 years. Next. If you look at all commodities, not just perishables, beverages is number one. And the left-hand side is both import-export. The middle with the orange is imports, and then the yellow is what we export to France. So look at beverages is number one coming in, 5,799. It's a lot of the it's spring water that comes in from France, as well as that wine. Then number two, cosmetics and pharma. Hector was talking about their cosmetic customers. Miami is becoming a hub for pharma and cosmetics coming in from different parts of the world, being reassigned here in Miami through the Port Miami Foreign Trade Zone, rekitted, relabeled, repacked, and sent out again. So that reflects exactly what our warehouser folks and Hector's were talking about. And then just furniture, fruits, vegetables, plastics, rubber, the list. But if you look at the right-hand side, beverages is by far number one. Now we look at it by value. So the beverages, if it's spring water, it doesn't quite bring in the same price as the cosmetics and pharma. So actually by value, by almost triple, is cosmetics and pharma coming in. That's your high value products coming in from France. Number two, beverages, consolidated cargo, machinery. We'll go to the next slide. So opening new trade routes. Port Miami has 3 services with Europe. 2 are to the Mediterranean and 1 is to Northern Europe. And Port Miami connections on the northern routes that we have, it goes to Le Havre, and on the southern it goes to Fos-sur-Mer, which is right outside of Marseille, and that's our CMA folks and friends. Also, 2 of Port Miami's European services also call on Mexico. That's an incredible link. Services that are going from Europe, touching Miami, then going to Mexico, and providing that linkage to the Americas for the Northern European continent. We, just like Hector was saying, we service the Americas as well as North America market here. Port Miami has over our free trade zone that you mentioned before. Stanley has over 100 active sites. We have an air-sea cargo program in partnership with Miami International Airport, where each week we have fruits and vegetables coming in from Guatemala by ocean. Then they're without inspection, they're able to, we have an agreement with CBP where we don't have to open them up because they're not entering U.S. commerce, goes directly to the airport. And on KLM Air France, we have product 3 times a week arriving in Paris or Amsterdam. And then again, just like I said before, we're a growing hub for pharma, medical devices, both at our airport and our seaport. Next one. So you see these routes right here. These are our European services, Northern European. These are both with our good friends at CMA CGM. Thank you very much. But you see the Northern European route connects Le Havre, Antwerp, Rotterdam, and Bremerhaven in Germany with Miami. And after Miami, it goes on to Veracruz and Altamira, which are Mexican ports, before it calls on Houston and New Orleans. So that's a great connection with your Northern European product in the northern coast of France, the southern coast of France. It's also connected to CMA CGM, where you have Genoa and La Spezia, Italy, connected to Fos-sur-Mer in France, Barcelona, Valencia, and Algiers. Connect us with New York, Norfolk, Savannah, and Miami. So great connections. If you want your product to come to Florida, which is growing at 1,000 people every day, we get 365,000 new people a year moving to Florida, and even more during the pandemic. Just to show you, on Q1, France was our number 4 trading partner with Europe, only behind Italy, Spain, and Turkey. Q2, France was number 5 trading partner, and Q3, France was also number 5. So we started out great. First quarter, October through December, 19% up. We were booming. You can see the other 2 quarters were reflective of the pandemic, but we're optimistic that those numbers are coming back, and you'll see Q4. If you add all 4 quarters of us together with our cargo at Port Miami, we're going to be down only about 5%, which is incredible during a pandemic. And we're actually up in our perishables or reefer cargo. Last slide right here is just a thank you, and looking forward to continuing to be partners with France and Port Miami. We are your connection to the Americas, United States, and I want to thank our friends at CMA CGM and Bolloré for helping the port grow and working together as partners in trade.
That's great. Thank you very much. I think this is we see the investment from France from a trade and logistics perspective as very important to the trade and logistics community. As Eric said, I think pharmaceuticals and cosmetics and all things related to life science and healthcare is a huge industry here. Most people, when you think of global cities, you tend to think about New York, San Francisco, or maybe Savannah, Atlanta. But I think it's interesting how Miami is creeping up as one of the major centers for international trade and logistics. And I should mention that from an international cargo perspective, Miami International Airport is the #1 airport in the United States for international cargo. So couple that with the seaport, Miami is a huge competitor in this market. So with that, I just wanted to maybe start with a more conversational format, and I figure I'll start with asking Jean-Yves a little bit about what's the contribution of CMA CGM to the Port of Miami? I know you talked a little bit about that during your presentation, but is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Stanley. First of all, I wish to thank Eric for the nice presentation of CMA CGM services. So you already said a lot about what we are doing in Miami. Nevertheless, I think it is important to point out and to remind eventually to those who doesn't know yet pretty much CMA CGM, the fact that we are established in the US since 1991, which is almost 30 years. We have grown to become a major group in the country, and today we are the #1 and the largest maritime carrier into the US, which I believe, coming from almost nothing 30 years ago, it's a major achievement. Today in the US, we employ together with SEVA 12,000 staff members within 100 offices and warehouses. We are calling in 19 ports, whether this is East Coast or West Coast, and that we do, of course, with our 500 vessels that we operate. But it's also good to remind that within those ships, we operate 9, which bear the US flag, and obviously are operated with US sailors. So those key points, I think, are
very good.
Major one for the contribution to the country. But still, even though we are present in East Coast and West Coast, we represent something like 20% market share in the Port of Miami, like Eric reminded again, our services, and also our contribution and our participation, into the terminal is part of a noticeable contribution. Lastly, I would say that the group has chosen to be established in Miami to run its Latin American business for many years, probably again decades. And as I also mentioned in my introduction, now we are managing the entire region, including East Coast, South America. The next project that we are having, let's say, and the next development that we are having in Miami, in the region, is to develop air freight. You recall and you remind, Stanley, that Miami airport is the largest one in terms of air freight in the US. And thanks to the cooperation that the shipping and the logistic part of the group have with SEVA, we're going to develop this business also. So I would say that those are the main points which show the contribution of the group, whether this is in the US, but also in Miami and for the region.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that a very detailed answer. So I probably just pitch it over to you as well, Hector. Tell us a little bit about why you've the Bolloré Logistics Group has invested in Miami. Why is Miami so important to your growth?
Yes, as I said earlier, I mean, we have here two key and important airport and seaports, you know, both here in Miami for hubbing and distribution, you know, for both North and South America, of course, and the Caribbean, and now to the other regions of the world. And in Bolloré, they made a strategic decision that Miami was to become one of the key hubs globally, calling Miami the Americas hub. So we have one in Singapore, one in Paris, one in Dubai, and now with Miami. So it will join the global club, let's say, or major hub globally. So, I mean, like I said earlier, in our warehouse and facility, we can do a lot of value-added services to the product, and also utilize the, you know, either the bonded or free trade zone, depending on the customer needs, and try to minimize the impact of duties and taxes as those products are stored or transit through the Miami area. So yeah, so it's excited to be here. I mean, I think you said it, with the cosmetic industry growing, the travel retail is growing, even though it's hurting a little bit now, but we're seeing some comeback. And of course, the aerospace, you know. As you know, Embraer, for example, has a large operation in Florida, and we're also supporting them as well. So, yeah, that's a major reason.
And Eric, I'll go to you very quickly. I know perishables is a major component for us here, but what does Bolloré Logistics and CMA-CGM bring to Miami that strengthens Miami as a place to do business?
There's a connectivity. You know, I think in the past, Stanley, most ports used to just focus on getting, you know, being able to dock, take it off on a big crane and have it leave the port. And you're seeing now that it's 360-degree logistics that they're interested in. You know, the CMA-CGM works with Bolloré to make sure that their customer is happy, right? That the product gets off port and isn't stuck in traffic, isn't stuck and that's why we've invested, actually, Stanley, at the South Florida Container Terminal, over $100 million in electric RTGs, in a new gate system, and getting that product to the customer faster. We spent $1 billion building a tunnel under Biscayne Bay, so that at any time, 24 hours a day, cargo can leave the port and go directly to the interstate highway system. So it's all about, you know, connectivity. It's all three of us working together to bring in the bigger ships to better assist customers like Amazon, Embraer. And I'd be remiss to talk about the new opportunities that we have with e-commerce. We're having all sorts of people right now that are ordering products out from Amazon, and they live in countries, let's say Costa Rica, that doesn't have service to, you know, it doesn't have Amazon currently right now. They're having products delivered to Miami, and then and those warehouses in Miami are consolidating it and shipping it all across the Caribbean and Central and South America. So we're becoming the e-commerce hub, and it's real important to realize that we can handle that here in Miami, that we have the logistics and the ability to bring in the commerce and the returns as well. 40% of all Amazon purchases come back as a return. You can in certain South American or Central American countries, but we can't handle that in Miami. That's why Amazon's building a 1 million square foot distribution facility right now in Homestead. It'll be the 6th Amazon facility in Miami-Dade County to be built in the last 5 years.
Excellent. Excellent.
So it's a hot market.
It is. It really is. So coming back to you, Jean-Yves, I'm interested to understand, given the fast pace of the tech environment, what is CMA CGM doing to adapt to this business model versus a traditional industry such as maritime sector?
Now, this is a very, very interesting question. In fact, that innovation and adaptability has always been into the DNA of the group. I do remember when I joined the group a few years back, I will not tell you how many years, but anyway, the first marketing campaign that I saw was the spirit of the imagination, you know. So I think, again, it's really part of us. The shipping and the logistic tomorrow will definitely be stronger with digitalization. So in order to cope with that new trend, I would say, first of all, the group created a couple of years ago a subsidiary that we call CMA CGM Venture, which is a kind of in-house investment fund, which actually support between 10 to 20 startups, depending of the time that they work with us. This CMA CGM Venture is managed by a team of chief digital officer who already overseen investment in many innovative technologies, such as recently, I think it's 18 months ago, we invested into Nightchecks, you know, which is the first digital marketplace for ocean freight. In 2019, we also created in Marseille The Box. The Box is our in-house incubator and accelerator. I don't know whether you had the pleasure to visit it when you came over, but this is a place where we try to develop vertical technologies such as artificial intelligence, of course, robotics, cybersecurity, blockchain, and IoT. The focus, of course, ultimately is to develop on a new solution for transport and logistic. Very recently, we hired the IBM France CEO, Nicolas Sekaki, as the Executive Vice President of IT and Digital for CMA CGM. And for sure, he will contribute to bring a new skill to the group. And one of the last initiatives also that we are having in order to complete this strategy of innovation, I would say, is we do partner with Ivy League universities such as MIT, for instance. And for sure, it will bring, and it brings to us new ideas and possible new innovation.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Innovation is really key to all of this. I think companies need to stay ahead of the curve, and if they don't, you know, it's something that'll put them behind. I do want to share some questions that are coming to us through the chat box. Marc-Antoine, you're co-moderating with me, so why don't you share that question?
Sure. There's a question from Gerard Filippo. Between Bolloré and CMA CGM, trade with the African continent is growing, and Port Miami is the closest US port to Africa. So how do we create a direct service from Africa to Port Miami?
Great question.
I think it
I mean,
Hector, you want-
you may have a say as well, you know, in this probably.
for the shipping side, if you want, I can bring some answer. We do participate, I would say, actively to the trade between the US and West Africa. Essentially, we also carry some goods to South Africa, but it's a relatively small trade, I would say. But we do it over our hub. We, as you may know, we have a strategy of having hubs all over the world. And in that particular case, we are hubbing the cargo in Tangier and Algeciras, which are our two main ports in the Gibraltar Strait. So Eric reminded our services at the beginning of the session. We have one service calling Amerigo, linking Miami to the West Mediterranean, and that service is used to transship the cargo into West Africa. And from Tangier, we do operate, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 7 services going into West Africa. So we definitely cope with this growing market, and we are probably number 1 or number 2 on that trade.
Yeah, I always tell people that the growth is really in both Latin America and on the African continent. So it's good to see that there's that CMA-CGM is doing what it needs to do to bring Africa into the fold as well. So let me turn back to you, Hector. How is Bolloré Logistics preparing to handle the impact of COVID-19 vaccine on air cargo?
Yes, well, that's a very good question. As you know, the pandemic has created quite a strain in our air cargo capacity and market globally. As you know, this is a global challenge as we speak, and we continue to speak about. You know, now with the vaccines in the pipeline, we, the logistics provider, and all of us sitting in this session today are preparing for this. So, you know, we're working very, very close with the Miami airport, with their facilities, their cold chain facilities, as well with our cold chain facility that we have here, to be able to manage this vaccine, because depending on the vaccine, some of them have different lifetime cycles and temperature requirements. So it will be quite a challenge for all of us in logistics, not only in terms of the requirement, but in terms of the capacity, the available capacity to be able to distribute this vaccine globally. Here in Bolloré, we are already preparing for that. We already handle some current vaccine in the market through our facility, through the Miami airport, and in some cases through the seaport. Due to our expertise in the pharma, you know, we have quite a bit of European and French pharma accounts that we handle currently. Their vaccines from Europe to Latin America, from here to Latin America. So we are getting ready for that as we speak. Very, very quickly, you know. And also we participate with the Miami airport in the new joint partnership called Pharma.aero. I know you're familiar with it. We're part of that. I think we're the only, let's call it, a logistics company participating on that locally. So yeah, we're happy about that. So yeah, I mean, we have quite a challenge. The numbers keep growing in terms of our cargo, 65,000 tons. That's what we're talking about for next year. That's a lot of 747s to carry all that freight for next year. I think, I don't know, 1,000 plus 747. So quite a bit of planning to happen the next few months. So thank you.
Sure, thank you for that. It's going to be a daunting task for sure when all of these vaccines are produced and ready for distribution. Eric, what do you think? What is the port doing to prepare for that degree, that level of distribution capacity? That was for Eric. Eric, can you hear us?
Eric, yes, do.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, I was speaking to myself. So, yeah, you know, we're pharma and aero, or pharma via ocean has risen from Europe 158% since March. So we're seeing it, Hector. You know, one of the advantages of ocean cargo is that when it comes in the container, it's self-contained, right? A lot of times it doesn't have to get out. It doesn't go out on a hot runway where air could rush. It's refrigerated built into the container. So some of the companies actually prefer using ocean and we feel there's certain areas that don't have the airlift that are probably going to need ocean service, you know, to bring in the vaccines when they do. So we've been working with our partners at MIA. We've been working with the community to be able to be ready for that. And just a side note, you know, it has to be kept at a certain temperature, and we're bringing in flowers, we're bringing in reefer. Fruits and vegetables and reefer coming in from Latin America has actually increased 5% since March, which is ironic. But as my father always says, people have to eat. So we've seen, you know, the refrigerated cargo come in. We've been feeding the United States when all the restaurants were shut down and all the hotels were shut down. We were still the ones that were feeding the United States through Port Miami. And we're in the future going to be working toward building additional capacity, a reefer warehouse, likely on port or at the airport, and additional facilities. So we're investing in whatever reefer facilities that we for pharma and or flowers as well, because we want to diversify our economy and work with our partners to bring in different product from all around the globe.
Yeah, thank you for that, Eric. That's it's a huge opportunity for us here in Miami, and I think that when I think about our cold chain market here in Miami, not just flowers and perishables, but I think that we have the infrastructure for, you know, refrigerated commodities and what is needed to store and distribute this kind of product here in Miami. I did want to touch a little bit on I know Hector talked about FTZ zones, and I know this is huge here in Miami. Eric, you want to talk a little bit about what FTZ 281 has been doing over the last couple of years and why this is such an important piece for us with as far as trade and logistics goes?
Yeah, so 5 years ago, we got the license from Department of Commerce, U.S. Department of Commerce, to start a foreign trade zone, Port Miami 281. And we've gone from 0 5 years ago to over 100. And it's just been expanding. And especially even now during the pandemic, we've seen a lot of people, as Hector showed, the bonded warehouses are limited, right? And there's a 5-year limit, and you can't manufacture, and you can't do kitting and what have you. And so, yeah, it's one of the biggest success stories that we've done at the port was to form the foreign trade zone, offer that out to the community. And we have actually the fastest growing foreign trade zone in the United States. And I think we have more foreign trade zone sites than any other community in the United States. Even we're bigger than Los Angeles, Chicago, and Houston. So that's a huge, that's just a huge reflection on the market and the growth potential that we have here in Florida, that we've seen it, individuals have seen it, bringing Miami to be the sort of the not only connection to the Americas, but Asia, Europe, and Africa through our foreign trade zone. So it's been an incredible learning experience, but it's been an incredible opportunity. And that's why our cargo for the 6th year in a row, this year we had over 1 million TEUs, even in the depth of a pandemic.
Awesome. And
just going to say, Stanley, that those trade zones. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
I was
Eric.
just saying that the foreign trade zones feed the trade. You know,
Absolutely.
foreign trade zones feed the trade.
Absolutely. Marc-Antoine, were you trying to get in here?
I was just assessing. We have a couple of minutes left. Just as a very kind reminder, we don't have any questions so far in the session chat, but we did have a lot of comments saying that the content that was shared during your presentations and exchange was extremely informative and valuable to all of our viewers. And we've had quite an extensive amount of those. So I just wanted to say this because that's very nice, and it's thanks to all of you who gathered and prepared this session with great willingness. So thank you very much for that.
Of course. And may I leave maybe the panel with just one last question regarding COVID-19 and how they are positioning themselves for this degree of uncertainty. Tell us some of the things that you're doing to adjust to the pandemic. We'll start with you, Jean-Yves.
Well, it has been indeed a major concern and challenge to address since March, or even I would even say since February, because in our case we have lived with the pandemic and the consequences of the pandemic since end of January, when the Chinese New Year happened, and when we started to see a major decline in the volume of out of Asia, which in our case represent probably something like 45% of the volume that we carry overall, and that has been lasting from Asia for probably 2 months, and we started to see the effect in Europe and in the US sometimes in April and May. In order to cope with that, indeed, we have been forced to adjust the capacity that we are deploying on each and every trade. I think we have been quite flexible in this respect. We have been idling ships to a certain extent, depending on the period, but eventually up to 20 vessels, which is, you would probably believe that it's not a big number compared to the 500 that we are operating, but ultimately we are talking about very big ships because it's a mix of small one being the feeders and big one being mainliners, the one that we were eventually talking earlier, 15,000 TEUs now calling into East Coast. And basically we day by day, looking at the evolution of the booking, which, and to be very.
Oh, we just lost Jean-Yves for some reason, and I swear it was not me who cut him off, because we are really going to the end of the session, so I have nothing to do with this. Maybe to come to a conclusion to this session is, if all of you, I see Anthony Ginter, who has a question regarding the maybe a competition between Miami and Jacksonville. I suggest taking this question offline to directly Eric or Hector or Jean-Yves, who will be back. Oh, Jean-Yves, you're back. All right.
Yeah, sorry for that.
I'm jumping on this occasion to conclude and really come to an end. And I had nothing to do with you exiting the.
Well, let me also thank the panel, Hector, Eric, and Jean-Yves. Thank you for a very lively conversation. I think Miami is in a great position with the investments made by both Bolloré and CMA CGM in Miami. We're here to support you as much as we can. I know Eric is doing everything that he needs to do to make sure that we're giving you all the attention that you all deserve. And we're just excited about the future for Miami, especially as it relates to trade logistics. So, and I also want to thank Marc-Antoine, Rachel Renaud for inviting us on this panel. Trade logistics is, again, it's a top industry here in Miami, and it's always great to talk about the great things that are going on here in Miami. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Stanley. Eric and Jean-Yves, thank you very much for your presence, and for all of you watching. We will start a session in 2 minutes about the soccer business in Miami. Very interesting topic, and it will start in sessions in 2 minutes. Meanwhile, do connect with our panelists and guests in People in the top right corner, and also go visit the booths of our sponsors here on the left side in Expo. They are here for you. They are welcoming, and they have a lot of insight and value to give to you to be sure to do the right and take the right decisions. All right. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
very much.
Thank you. Take care.
in a little
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank